Once upon a time, in a land far away, lived two tribes of musicians, the strings and the vocals. The tribes lived on opposite sides of a great valley and despised each other with a passion. Each tribe believed that their music was the best in the land and wanted the valley all to themselves. When the king heard of this disagreement, he decided it should be ended once and for all. He sent at once for his most trusted messenger. "Messenger," he said, "tell the strings and vocals that there will be a contest. At noon on Thursday, each tribe will play a song as well as they possibly can and try to drown the other tribe out. I will stand at the center of the valley and listen to the songs, and whichever tribe plays better will be allowed the valley all to themselves." The messenger ran like the wind to deliver the news to the two rival tribes. Upon hearing it, the chief of the vocals exclaimed, "Finally! We will prove that our tribe is the best in the land and have the valley all to ourselves." On the other side of the valley, the chief of the strings blasted a clutch guitar solo that meant essentially the same thing. Now it happened that in the very same valley there lived a family of kazoos. These strange instruments kept mainly out of sight and were ignored by the strings and vocals because they weren't a threat to anyone. On this particular day, a little pink kazoo by the name of Harold was frolicking through the grass picking daisies when he overheard the messenger explaining the contest. Suddenly, an idea popped into his mind. He rushed up the side of the valley to find the chief of the strings, an old bass with golden frets. "Chief," he said, "I know how you can impress the king and win the valley. Listen carefully." And the little kazoo told the chief that while he was gathering turnips by the castle, he had happened to overhear the king whistling a song, a beautiful song that he knew happened to be the king's favorite. "If you play that song," said Kazoo, "the king will surely favor you over the vocals." And he stood on tiptoe and whispered the song's name into the chief's ear. "Don't practice too loudly, though, or the vocals will hear." With that, Harold the kazoo slipped away into the grass. For the next few days, both tribes practiced their songs incessantly. Day and night, beautiful sounds drifted through the valley where Harold lived. Each tribe was careful not to play too loudly, lest the other hear their secret tune. Harold could hear both songs becoming even more lovely as the days passed, until by Wednesday evening, the two tribes were hitting each note with a golden tone that resonated through the fields and lingered in the grass like an angel's song. As the sound floated through the darkness that night, Harold closed his eyes contentedly and fell asleep awaiting the next day's concert. On Thursday at precisely noon, everyone for miles around had gathered in front of the performing area in anticipation. As the king approached the stage, wild applause swept the crowd, and then fell silent as he began to speak. "Today is the day of the great contest," the king announced. "For the past week, the strings and the vocals have been preparing their finest music to perform for us. The tribe who has done the best job will be awarded this valley and everything in it. The other will be exiled." A murmur spread through the crowd as they glanced from one tribe to the other. Both chiefs seemed smugly confident that their tribe would win. For a single still moment, the silence in the valley was so intense that nobody dared to breathe. Then the king's scepter swept through the air with a faint whoosh. The contest had begun. The first guitar note rung through the air and hung above the audience, mesmerizing them. A chorus simultaneously erupted from the other side of the stage, the vocals' voices joining the strings' calculated strumming. To the audience's surprise, the notes didn't clash or drown each other out. Instead, they rose and fell in harmony, complementing each other and rippling powerfully across the ground. The two chiefs looked at each other in astonishment. For some strange reason, both tribes had chosen the same song. After the next 5 minutes, the fate of the Great Valley would change forever. The chiefs would notice, like the audience already had, that this music was far more beautiful than anything either tribe could play on its own. They would realize as they looked each other across the stage that their differences weren't a problem, but in fact for the reason that the notes danced so beautifully. They'd asked the king to call off the contest. They'd agreed to share the valley, and the little falsettos and baby ukuleles would play together in its meadows for years to come. Everyone would live happily ever after. For those 5 minutes, the two tribes weren't crying or laughing, celebrating the peaceful years to come. They were standing on the stage in deep concentration, playing the song that changed everything. And from a tuft of grass in the corner of the stage, Harold the kazoo heard every note.
And the pranks pulled by the twins, and always know where I have keep on smiling.